Good evening, everyone. I welcome each one of you to the online YouTube class of Intelligent Classes. And today we are going to cover a topic called limitations of joint stock company. We'll start with the first point. The first point says complexity in formation. The good thing is that already we have covered a point of formation when we were learning the features. You could recollect the content that formation of joint stock company is complex and time consuming. It requires completion of several documents and paperwork. So all that thing is already written in the format. You can go through that and understand once again. So here I have written content is same as feature number 3. Going towards the second one, lack of secrecy. I'm going to read the point first and then I'll explain you. The Act of Joint Stock Company requires each company to publish required information time to time. Such information is also made available to general public. Thus, it is difficult to maintain secrecy of the business. If we recollect, when we were learning sole proprietorship and partnership, you all know very, very well, secrecy could have been maintained easily. But just recollect once again, when we were learning cooperative society, as it was separately registered under Cooperative Societies Act in 1912, and this, my dear friend, joint stock company, which is registered under Companies Act of 1956 and 2013, now that secrecy cannot be maintained. Everything has to be made available to the public and it has to be published in the local newspaper. Many of the companies in India are there who are also publishing their balance sheet so that everyone can get to know how company is utilizing their funds. So yes, it is one of the limitations that there is a lack of secrecy. My dear friend, third point is called impersonal work environment. Let's see what is there. In JSC, there is a big separation between owners and top management of the company. Such thing results in lack of personal involvement from the side of officers. In large size organization, the personal contact between management and worker is very less, which results in impersonal work environment. I would like to explain this point again with a little bit of comparison. When you look at sole proprietorship, in sole proprietorship, owner is directly managing the entire business. So he is actually not having any kind of impersonal work environment. He's personally involved in the business. So yes, there is a complete personal experience. That's also in case of HUF. That's also in case of partnership. But in case of joint stock company, you all know real owners are shareholders. But these shareholders do not have time to manage their company. That's why they provide these powers to board of directors. Now this board of directors appoints top level management and they run the company as officers. So who is owning the company is a different person and who is managing the company or working in the company is a different person. That's why there is an impersonal work environment. We are done with the first slide. I would always recommend you that if you want to go through with anything, just pause the recording, read it, understand it, learn it. Here I would like to go ahead. Point number 4, numerous regulation. The functioning of company is subject to many rules and regulation. A company is always burdened with numerous regulation in terms of auditing, voting rights, documentation, etc. See, when you follow a company formation as per Companies Act of 1956 and 2013, that means you are bound to follow all the rules and regulations written over there. There are so many rules which are written with respect to management of the company in that specific act. How you are supposed to get your audit done, you need to provide all the voting rights to your member, what sort of documentation you need to keep out filling to the government every now and then. All regulations are there and it's absolutely compulsory for every company to follow them. The fifth point which we are coming right now, my dear friend, is called delay in decision making. Let's see. Companies are managed by board of directors, we know very, very well, followed by top level, middle level and operational level management. For approval on many proposals, a decision may result in a delay. So what this point is trying to say, there is an actual hierarchy. The first person is managing director. Then there are board of directors which are appointed by shareholders only. Board of director appoints top level management like CEO, CFO, this premium people. Then these people appoint middle level management, the departmental heads, then departmental head appoints supervisors which are working with workers. Now say for an example, workers are demanding new machines. This requirement will go to supervisor, supervisor will draft it to middle level management will make it happen to top level management. You can understand there is a considerable delay on many of the proposals, which will be one of the highlighted limitation in joint stock company. So as I've said, pause the slide, pause the video, look at the points, understand the point, and then only you should go ahead. Now I'm going towards point number 6. That's called oligarchic management, and my personal favorite one. The word itself is very complex in terms of meaning. That's why I've decided why not to write down the Google meaning just next to the title of the point. So oligarchic management means something which is owned by many but ruled by few. And that's a perfect title for a joint stock company, because joint stock company is owned by many. Many means shareholder, but ruled by few, because power of running joint stock company only goes to BODs, that is board of directors. Let's see. In theoretical approach, companies are democratic institution, BODs are representative, and shareholders are the owners. That's rightly said. That's what we are learning. Companies are democratic institution. We believe in right to vote. BODs are representative. Why they are representative? Because they are elected by shareholders, which are owners of the company. But in practicality, organizations which are having huge number of shareholders are actually having very less control and influence in terms of running and managing the business. See, theory is different and practicality is different. In practicality, what is happening? Every company is having huge number of shareholders. And it's not possible for every shareholder to go and manage their company. And that's why theory and practice have some differences. This happens because shareholders are spread across the countries, and it is simply not possible for them to attend all the general meetings held by the company. Say for an example, I have invested in a company which is right now in Kolkata. Now Kolkata is actually very, very far from over here, and I cannot take a flight every now and then when company needs me to attend the meeting. And that's why I have given all my powers to shareholders, all my powers to board of directors who are taking decisions on behalf of me. So as a shareholder, we are scattered across the nation. And that's why we are not in a position to attend every meeting which is held by the company for the management purpose. This actually provides some unwanted discretionary power in the hands of board of directors, which sometimes they may use even if it is not in the favor of shareholders. So as a group of shareholders, we believe that whatever decision recently taken by the company is not in our favor. We absolutely criticize that decision. But then we don't stand any chance because we have given our power to BODs. Now, whatever decision will be taken by BOD has to be respected by us. It is simple as that. We live in India. India is a democratic country. We might have elected one person as our leader. So we are expecting that he will run the country in a proper manner. Unfortunately or fortunately, that's a debatable thing. If a minister takes a decision which is not liked by the Janta at large, then one can't do it anything. Next time you don't vote about him. Same way, if you are a shareholder, you are not happy with some of the decision taken by BODs, well, unfortunately, you do not stand for any chance. The only chance is sell the share of the company, get out of the company. That's the only way out. So here it is written, such dissatisfied shareholders are then left with only no option but to sell the shares of their company. So virtually, directors enjoy all the power and management generally lies in their hands only. And that's why, my dear friends, this title, fits perfectly for the companies, joint stock companies limitation, the oligarchic management, something which is owned by many who are shareholders, but unfortunately ruled by few, which are the board of directors. We are coming to the final point of the day, that's called conflict of interest. There can be conflict of interest among various stakeholders of a company on many issues regarding salaries, quality of products, development, etc. Well, it's a well said point. There is no newness in it. When we were learning partnership, number of partners are there, conflict was present. When we learned cooperative society, many players are giving their inputs. Yes, conflict is there. Just imagine a company like Reliance Industry who is having 3.1 billion shareholders. the chance of conflict won't stand, definitely will stand. What salaries to be given, what should be the level of quality of the product, shall we go for expansion or not, shall we buy this machinery or not, shall we invest in this foreign company or not, what is the rate of dividend to shareholders. All these are important questions which a company need to address, and in that situation conflict will definitely come. Yes, my dear friends, hereby I would like to let you know that we have successfully completed the learning of limitation of joint stock company. Hope you have understood everything. I would like to let you know, whenever you are learning a point, no need to match with my speed. Learn with absolute quietness. Once 2 points are done at a given particular slide, pause that video, read it, understand it. And if you face any kind of doubt, you know very, very well, my personal window is always there. Ask me the doubt and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to solve it. Thank you so much for tuning in today and watching this video. I wish you a good day ahead.